Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at what if, and two different questions. What if everybody jumped at the same time at the same place? And our second question, what if we gathered up a group of moles in one place that's the size of a mole? A mole is a measurement of unit, but we'll look at that in a little bit later. But let's go to the first question here. Everybody jump. So this one starts off with, okay, if everyone on Earth got into the same place and jumped, or all jumped at the same time, not much would happen. A lot of different articles have dealt with that issue. All right, talked about that and looked at the math of what that would look like. So not much would happen. But our author takes it to a new level. Man, why don't we stop using just some idea like about the size of New Jersey? Let's say, Rhode Island. Everyone on the planet actually was in Rhode Island. And so what, the 5 billion people, 8 billion people on planet Earth were in one place, Rhode Island, and we all jumped. Nothing would happen. But those billions of people would be stuck in Rhode Island. What would happen to get them out? Well, airplanes would be locked up, cars would be locked up, people would be stuck and locked up, and everyone would be stuck in America. And the only way to escape would be to steal. To steal your way, to jump in a car, start it, and just drive off. And if you're on the outer edges, maybe the first 100,000 or the first million people, you could get away pretty quick and easy and just go off into America. But once you ran out of gas, there wouldn't be any gas stations to use because everyone would be teleported still on Rhode Island. So you'd have to steal another car. But the good news is there's no police because all the police are stuck on Rhode Island too. And so you'd have to steal your way to freedom. Eventually, there would be a new world order of chaos, of people kind of coming together. The odds are that the closest people around you wouldn't speak your language. So eventually, people that spoke each other's language would come together and start forming these little groups. And there would be, crazy people running around and no police or government or military. It'd all just be wild and crazy. There'd be a new world order that would rule. And most of the people would probably die. But the ones that lived could create a new world or system or whatever. Well, pretty dark, pretty crazy. Well, let's go to the next question. What if there was a mole of moles? So a mole is a measurement of unit for counting, I think, molecules in an atom or something like that. And it's like 62 trillion, billion, trillion, million. I mean, it's a huge long number. Okay, I don't even know the word for that number. Oh, that word for that number is a mole. But a mole is also a creature that lives underground. It's like an ugly bunny. Just think about that. An ugly bunny that lives underground that can't see very well and has a big nose. Sometimes it has like a star mole, which he talks about in the book, has like a nose that kind of opens up like that. Pretty freaky looking. So if you had that many moles, what would it look like? The author does some really weird, bad math. I actually didn't understand it. It was that bad. Don't follow that math, but he has a kind of funny picture. But let's look at some good math. Okay. So if we had 62 kabillion, trillion, zillion, okay, whatever that number is, a mole of moles, well, we couldn't even fit it on Earth because there's just not enough room or space or anything. So let's imagine that they're outside of the Earth, okay? They're next to the moon or something, and you have this huge ball of these moles. And that would actually be about the size of the moon. Wow, that is huge. And so he looks at the exact numbers of all of this and does some better math. But we would create kind of a mole planet. And the mole planet would kind of form closer together as the moles and the gravity of themselves just kind of push together. So in the middle, those moles might get mushed and crushed, and the heat from all those moles together would actually cook them in the middle, and they'd kind of turn into like a weird oil goop, meat goop. Ugh. And then the heat would come out and go back in, and it would go out, and the outside moles would like freeze and fall off, and the inside moles would heat up. And I don't know, over a few 100 years, 1,000 years, eventually all that heat and energy would escape, and then it'd be like this floating ball of icy mole planet. And that's where kind of this crazy science gets into, where he just like, yeah, man, what would happen is what would in the inside, and it looks a pretty strange, weird mole planet goop. Oh man, it was kind of disturbing to me in my mind. But that's what it would look like. Eventually, I have no idea what would happen at the end. I can't remember how it goes. They'd float off into space, or they would slowly float apart and break up into space, flying in all directions. Something like that. Sorry, let's go into some vocabulary. Kinematics is the mathematics for mechanics or movement. So if you looked at the movement of everyone jumping and how that would work on the planet, that's kind of that style of math. Commandeering is to take over. Usually we think of a police officer or military saying, "Excuse me, sir or ma'am, I need to commandeer. I need to take your vehicle for the government and for some important reason." Coalescing is kind of coming together more and more and more. So think of that mole planet is coalescing, gathering together. Pristine is like perfect, clean, clear, beautiful. A mole is a number, and it's also an animal. Compress is to like push or press together. If you think about your Coke or a soda, the soda is compressed in a can. So if you shake it, it explodes. Contraction is the movement of, I think of your muscles. Your muscles contract to send power to them, and then they relax. Contract, relax. So that action of coming closer together. And the last one here is a geyser. A geyser is some energy in the ground that shoots out. A volcano might be like a geyser. Usually we think of water. A geyser is for water, where this water shoots out of the ground because it gets too hot. But in this mole planet, the gas from the lungs of the moles and the energy of things breaking down would actually eventually shoot out at different places of the mole planet, shooting off little moles flying out into outer space. That leaves us with our discussion question. Would you survive in the new order? If you were teleported to New Jersey with everyone else and then you escape, let's say you were on the outside, okay, give you a better chance here. Do you think you would survive in this new world order where everyone on the planet lives in America or in New Jersey? Oh, Rhode Island. I don't know why I keep saying New Jersey, but Rhode Island. And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.